Welcome to week one, session one, for Humanities 216, Christmas literature. This week we are looking at the season of Advent, the biblical narrative of Christmas. So what I want to do with this particular one is just look more specifically at this week's projects. But please note that there are overviews for the whole entire course, and we also will review each week. We'll have a couple of slides about the term projects, just so that you're thinking about them and processing them. They're obviously due at the end of the term or toward the end, but I do like to make sure that you are thinking about it and ready to reach out and chat about it. So the agenda today is to look at essential questions. That's what we have each session that we're looking at, to present the reading and viewing assignments so that we're ready for those. Also check the student lounge, because I just put up a single PDF that has all of the readings that are not in the book, so that you can have all of those in one document if that is helpful for you, rather than all the different websites and links and all those things together. You are welcome to approach it however you'd like. Then we have our two discussions and the full term assignments that we're just reviewing. So actually, let's get them a little more space so that looks nicer. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's look at our essential questions. I like to think of these as a way to sort of ground each session. A lot of times we'll look at an assignment that we're working on and we feel like, okay, I'm doing this assignment, and this little bubble that I'm in is what I'm working on. And yes, you are, working on one assignment at a time, as it were. We all have to focus at some point or other. But I want you to realize that every assignment within a session is going to impact the other assignments. It's not as much this week when we're introducing ourselves and then starting the process of our course, but even then, it is still present. We're talking about our experiences and our memories, and we are then going to connect those to the overall concepts. So as you go forward, I'm always going to keep bringing these ideas up, because we do need to realize that everything connects. And we can give a big thank you to Matilda for all the incredible noises in the background. I'm so sorry. She's got her favorite toy. Okay, so what we're looking at this week are the major themes of Advent and Christmas. These are going to be big ones that we look at throughout the term that sort of influence the overall trajectory. And this is our week for learning what those are. So it's a great idea to have some notes that you can sort of keep to yourself, that you have to sort of refresh and go back to. Our next one, what is the theological connection between the seasons, Advent and Christmas? So we're starting to make those ideas. There are some incredible Advent things that have been out for the last 15, 20 years, I think, more so than when I was a child. So I think many of you will probably be somewhat familiar, but we are still going to explore that together. We're going to look at the biblical foundations for Christmas. So we have some work in Matthew and Luke to read. We're going to look at some of the non-biblical traditions that influence the celebration. So if you look sort of around the world at any society, you'll find that winter celebrations are really important. People are in the dark in many areas around the world. Obviously, if you are sort of near the equator, the days are kind of the same. But if you are away from that equator, you find that the days get shorter for the winter season, and that darkness leads people to reach out to one another. And some of these celebrations are secular, we would say, but at the same time, a lot of them have become Christian, or there are ways to view them or connect with them that are more and more biblical. So we're going to see the non-biblical ones, we're going to look at the biblical ideas, and you'll start to see some crossover happening. And I think that's a really interesting place to ask yourself sort of what helps you connect and what doesn't help you, and then focus on the wonderful traditions that you can include for your own family and your friends to make those connections really beautiful. We're also going to look at some movies. So how accurately do movies portray the biblical Christmas message? We're going to see different parts of that this term as we look at 4 different movies, and we start to assess that question. Next, how does one prepare for Christmas? I always feel like this is such an incredible point and makes me love this class so much, because I tend to be working right up till Christmas Eve, and so I don't pause, or I don't have time off to really prepare. And that is not something we have to do in the physical sense necessarily, as much as something we all can do mentally and emotionally. Penultimately, which Christmas movie do you most associate with Christmas? So kind of getting yourself thinking, like, what is that? And how does it reflect Christmas? Because even the most secular of Christmas movies can have something in it that speaks to our hearts. Finally, which elements are essential for the celebration of Christmas? And again, that to me goes to the preparation. Is it really the tree that I put up, or is it that time spent with my family and all of us recognizing that the season is here and present, that Christ is with us? So I hope that you'll start to really open up the ideas that you have, and you'll interact with what your classmates see as well. So here are our reading and viewing assignments by session. So this is session 1, and we are looking at our little mini textbook, but we have lots of songs and poems to look at. John Donne, and John Milton, all kinds of different amazing ones to look at throughout the season. And again, I put all of these parts, so you have the book, and then all of these are in a PDF in the student lounge if you'd like to look at that. We actually don't have a movie this time, but we will have films every other session, so this is your one time to get ready. We are looking at our Get to Know You discussion, which is, you're probably pretty familiar with it. I am going to look at sort of the special things that we're looking at this term, and then our discussion over what we've read, anticipating this season. So in our discussion of Get to Know You, obviously a lot of it stays the same. No matter what course we're in, we are all exploring sort of some of the same options. However, most courses like ours are going to have some questions about the specific topic. So our questions now are: what do you believe to be the true meaning of Christmas? What are some of the Christmas traditions that you celebrate? How do you share the meaning and celebration of Christmas with others? What is your favorite Christmas tradition? And finally, what is your favorite Christmas carol, movie, or piece of literature? Something that connects you to the season. I want to pause here for this particular point. A lot of what we're looking at with Christmas, with particular holidays, or even with birthdays, is about anticipation, and it's about expectations, and that is just not the same for everyone. Some of us are going to have incredible memories, and we look forward to sharing those traditions with our families and continuing those traditions, but there are plenty of others of us who are going to have bad memories of Christmases past, of that expectation being deflated or broken, of stopping having expectations, of being in fear, essentially, of that anticipation, because so many really horrific things have happened to us at that time. It can be, a one-time trauma. It can be multiple traumas. So as a group, I want you to think about the fact that we're here to explore everything. That person who has incredible memories and really strong family traditions, we want to hear about it. And for that person who sees this as a time of darkness, where they are looking for that light of the holiday season, and a lot of the festivals and things around Christmas are all about light. They're about fire, so they're about warmth. And we want to share what we would like to have and what we've experienced in the past. So if at any point you are looking at one of these assignments and you feel unsure, you're uncomfortable, it's just really hard for you, I really want you to reach out to me and have some conversations. I have lots of good memories of holidays and of the season, but that's not necessarily true of my mom. She doesn't necessarily have a lot of those same positive memories. And so what could be really fun for me could be really difficult for her. And I want you to understand that we are all on that spectrum of what it feels like for us. So I'm just an email or a text away if at any point you want to sort of press pause and have a conversation away from the group. Please don't hesitate to reach out and chat with me. So our full first assignment is a discussion, and we are talking about anticipating the season. And these are our 4 questions. How does anticipation and preparation contribute to the Christmas experience? I already kind of commented on that because I don't feel like I get to prepare. When I was younger and I didn't have so many responsibilities, I loved all the baking, and my best friend and I would get together and just bake, and we'd make candies and cookies and all kinds of things. And I even did huge samplers for my dad to give for the other companies he worked with, and all these really fun, exciting things. But when we get busy, those things can kind of be difficult. So, what about that is so difficult for me? Why do I feel that I need to prepare? What's happening with this anticipation and preparation sides? And the rush often is not to post these steps to social media and to share those. What's going on with our hearts there, and our feelings of how we're experiencing the season? What can you draw from your reading this week about the role of anticipation and the Christmas experience? So as you can tell, it's not just me having those thoughts and feelings. It's, well, pretty much all of us. So what do those things look like? I immediately also thought of things like Advent calendars, that we have those, 12 days that we're building up, or even the 25 days, 24 days for calendars that we have. And when I was little, we always got little chocolates and things in there. And what are some common themes that start to emerge? I love questions like this because there isn't just one answer. As you look at it, look for something that's sort of that kernel of, or a thread that's strung through each piece. What are you seeing or feeling? Is it about decorating? Is it about cooking? Like, what sort of things are happening that everyone seems to connect to around the world? Finally, as we near the Christmas season, does what you observe in your day-to-day experience match what's in the reading for this session? How is it the same? How is it different? What are you starting to see? I think already you'll have experienced that Christmas things are happening. In fact, I saw someone in my neighborhood post about how she decorated for Christmas, and I want to be her. I love decorating for Christmas. So I thought, oh, I could go there soon too. But some people are like, oh, now you have to wait till after Thanksgiving. Like, what's happening with all these kinds of things and all of these ways to connect with that anticipation and preparation? The next thing I want to look at, these are covered extensively in the course overview as well, but I want to talk about our term project. So we're going to turn in some stuff about our ornament to me, but not to your class, in session 4, and in session 5 you'll share your ornament with everyone else. But we are creating original Christmas ornaments or decorations. I have a couple of ideas on the next page, and because it's been a while and I forgot to get permission, I don't have images to just share of what students have done in the past, but please know that you can ask and that I will be happy to share them privately. I just don't want to put them on the internet and all of that kind of stuff when I haven't gotten full permission for the students. I'm sure they wouldn't mind, but I don't want to do that. So if you feel like seeing will help, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. There are so many different ways to explore an ornament. So we could be doing something that is flat, that is paper, that is a one-dimensional. It can be 3D. It could have paper and clay and be made in a 3D form. We can look at Advent items. A student did a wonderful centerpiece for her table with different candles and different representations, and explained the meaning of each part and what she shared with her family. A wonderful gentleman did a tree topper that was really, really cool, that had multi-parts to it. I've seen so many really cool things, and we're going to be learning about not only our own particular area, like for instance, a fair number of sort of German and Czech influences are in my area where I was born and raised, but we all are also going to be learning about what people do around the world. So check out those different things and see what inspires you. You'll also find that I encourage you throughout our course to see if you want to engage with your families. These don't have to be things you're just doing by yourself. In fact, a student did some clay. He got one of those kits, and he was able to take an imprint of his newborn son's foot to put as an ornament on their tree as his very first Christmas. So there are wonderful connections we can have with our family through these items as well. So just be thinking about it. It's not due for another couple of weeks. We'll have Thanksgiving in the middle. You have lots of time, but just start thinking what kind of ornaments attract you, what sort of is exciting and beautiful. And finally, what you'll turn in and discuss in session 5 is our service project. And again, there are so many ways to approach this. We are mainly looking at how we can connect to our community. We don't want to write a check or just give some money. We want to say, well, what can we do to really open our eyes to the people around us? How can we connect with them and love them? What would that look like? And I mean, money could be a part of this. That was one of my favorite Christmases. We pooled the money that we had for each other to get each other presents, and we gave it to someone we had met and had some time with that person and really enjoyed spending that time with them. Look for those, like, so money can be a part of it if you would like it to, but it wasn't just about being like, hey, here's some money. It was about communicating with someone that we had built a relationship with, and about saying, you know what, this could buy us, trinkets, but it could do something for this person. And it was just one of my favorite moments and memories of connecting as a family to do something for someone we cared about. So I have some ideas down here of different things students have done, and it can be as sort of involved or not. We don't all have the same amounts of time or energy, but just look around you and start to see. I will be reaching out by email to chat with each one of you to support you in this process. So make sure you're watching your school email for that, and don't hesitate to send me ideas and to brainstorm with me. So look out there and see. A student had sort of a neighborhood shop. She solicited donations, and she created a little store in her garage that people could choose a time and come by, and they could shop, and it was all for free because it was all donated. And she got to know her neighbors through that. She got to know people around her because she was able to support them and help them. And it was just really, really exciting. So that one obviously was very, very intense. There was a lot of time and attention given to that. But she had that at that particular time, and so she did that. And supporting your local community drives. There are so many things your local community is doing, and they need people to wrap things. They need people to be present. They need people to donate. They need all kinds of things. So look for what would be something really great for you and possibly your family to contribute. Just who in your community needs you? What could that look like? Could it be connecting people with resources? Could it be providing resources? Could it be supporting a bigger organization? All of these are opportunities to explore and love on people. Finally, I do have a list of films and where I have so far been able to find sort of prices for renting them, or if they belong to a subscription service. We just have 3 of those. But please start looking at your local libraries. Ask friends. Start to do what you can, because obviously 4 of these, if we're looking at $3 to $4 a piece, it's going to add up. So please don't hesitate. Up the $3.99, you're only picking one of these, either the 1947 version or the 94. But as we go through each session, if there is a way for you to get them at sort of a better price, or reaching out to borrow from your library, do those items. So I can't wait today to see what you have to say this week about anticipating the season, and I hope that you'll feel comfortable and excited to share with us what you are seeing and experiencing.